Chapter 2305. This Mo Yusheng, after going out, not only was he no longer stupid, his strength had also become stronger than his own. It seemed that it was good to have a powerful master by his side. Fortunately, his master didn't come today, otherwise, he would definitely kill him today. The people behind him received the order and two people condensed spirit energy to attack Mo Yusheng. Mo Yusheng stood in front of him and said, "Your target is me. Sixth brother, just watch from the back." Mo Yusheng pressed him down, making him unable to move. Then, Mo Yusheng waved his hand and those people were blown away by the strong wind. The unfinished spirit technique was also disrupted because of this. Mo Yusheng was shocked by this move and stood in place in a daze. Mo Yusheng smiled at him, "Sixth brother, just stay here and watch how I take care of them." Mo Yusheng subconsciously nodded and watched as his figure moved around the courtyard like a ghost. When he stopped, those people had already turned into corpses. Mo Yusheng threw the only living Mo Yusheng in front of him and said, "Sixth brother, I'll leave him to you." Only then did Mo Yusheng recover from his shock and look at him in astonishment. "If you have anything to say it after dealing with these matters," Mo Yusheng urged. Mo Yusheng nodded and didn't hesitate. He took out a long sword and directly pierced Mo Yusheng's heart. When those people came in, Mo Yusheng was already dead. "Sixth prince. We came late to save the emperor, please punish us." Those people all knelt down. "You were also delayed by others." Mo Yusheng didn't blame them and went forward to help the leader up. "How is father now?" "The emperor has already been. The fourth prince had people take action against the emperor an hour ago." "Father." Mo Yusheng knelt down in front of the imperial palace with a sorrowful expression. "Sixth prince, what we need to do now is to quickly stabilize the situation. The emperor's corpse is still in the palace and the officials are all in a panic right now. Let's quickly enter the palace." "All right." Mo Yusheng stood up and looked at Mo Yusheng. "You can go. When you're done, I'll come find you." Mo Yusheng smiled at him. Only then did everyone realize that the previously foolish seventh prince was no longer foolish. Mo Yulai indeed had a lot of things he wanted to say to Mo Yusheng. After hearing his words, he nodded and left with his people. After that, Mo Yulai did things very smoothly. The fourth prince was already dead. Now that Mo Yulai was alive, there was no point in those people objecting to him. The Mo dynasty could only be ruled by those with the surname Mo. It was useless no matter how hard they tried. Soon, the person who poisoned the emperor and killed him was found out. It was the fourth prince who did it. Thus, the ministers and various forces gathered around Mo Yu to become the Heart Emperor. Mo Yulai was also very capable. In just a few days, he had the entire situation under control. On this day, he was reviewing memorials in the imperial study when he felt a fluctuation in the air. He raised his head and saw Mo Yusheng walk out of the space. The sound of rain. He put down the pen in his hand and looked at him happily. "Sixth imperial brother." Mo Yusheng came to his side and looked at the tall pile of memorials, saying, "Being the emperor really is busy. Imperial father wasn't feeling well a while ago, so these piled up." Mo Yulai said, "Why do you have time to come today?" He sent people to invite him before, but he said he didn't have time. He didn't expect him to come now. "I came to say goodbye." Mo Yusheng said, "Let's go to the imperial garden." "Okay." Mo Yulai didn't bring anyone and went to the imperial garden with him. Because of the previous battle, the imperial garden had been damaged quite a bit. It hadn't been completely repaired yet. "You're leaving?" Mo Yulai asked. "Yes. After leaving this time, I might not come back." Mo Yusheng said. "You're going to do something very dangerous?" "You can say that. However, me not coming back has nothing to do with this. Even if we achieve a great victory, I won't come back." Mo Yusheng said. "Why? This is your home." Mo Yulai didn't understand. "I'm not the real Mo Yusheng." Mo Yusheng said, "I'm just a passerby who borrowed his identity." He told Imoyulai about his tribulation. Seeing Imoyulai's complicated expression, he said, "After I'm done with the matters above, I might return to my place. The only one I'm worried about here is you. Fortunately, you've already succeeded, so things will be better in the future." You. Imoyulai opened his mouth, but didn't know what to say. He felt that Imo Yushing's change was too big. He shouldn't have grown so powerful in just 2 years. Indeed, that was the truth. You have to be careful. If you want to come back in the future, then come back. As long as I'm alive, this will always be your home. Thank you, 6th Imperial Brother. Imo Yushing smiled and took out a spatial ring. He placed it in Imoyulai's hand and said, "These are some things I collected in the past. I'll give them to you. You're a pill emperor, so you must have collected very good treasures. 6th Imperial Brother won't be polite with you." Imoyulai pretended to be relaxed and said, "Since you're leaving, then let's have a good drink today. Treat it as a farewell for you." "Okay, I haven't had a good drink with 6th Imperial Brother yet. Let's go get the wine." Sima Yuyue and Wu Lingyu were playing chess. Qi Yan and the others were talking about something. They seemed to be discussing their strategy. When she was playing with Bai Yuyan, while Bai Xiaofei was smiling at the mother and daughter. Everything seemed to be happy and harmonious. Sima Yuyue held a white chess piece and was about to place it down when her hands suddenly stopped. She was stunned, as if her mind was not there. "Yuyu?" Wu Lingyu saw that she was stunned and called out softly. Sima Yuyue did not react. The commotion attracted everyone's attention. They surrounded her and asked, "What's wrong with her?" Qi Yan had a contract with her, so he knew the reason immediately. She entered a state of sleep. She fell asleep? Why did she suddenly fall asleep? She didn't fall asleep. Someone made her fall asleep. When Qi Yan said this, Wu Lingyu understood and looked at her worriedly. But Bai Xiaofei and the others did not know. They looked at Qi Yan and asked him to explain. Qi Yan explained the matter with Xian Qiuhe briefly. Everyone understood the relationship and started to worry. Xian Qiuhe looked for her in this way at this time. It was definitely not a good thing. Sima Yuyue felt that she was dreaming again. But this dream was so clear that she could think of everything clearly. She was playing chess with Lingyu. Now that she entered the dream, she must have been pulled in by Xian Qiuhe. She came to the bottom of a cliff. She looked up and saw her clansmen and friends. The elders of the Sima family were all captured. Shiman Feng and the others were there too. There was also Fatty and the others. Everyone was fixed on the cliff in the shape of a cross. Chapter 2306. Sima Yuyue looked at the people on the cliff and could not suppress the anger in her heart. "What do you mean?" She tried hard to suppress the anger in her heart. "What do I mean, don't you understand?" Xian Qiuhe's pleasant voice was cold and unruly, without the warmth from before. "Understand?" She understood what he meant too well. "What do you want? What do you think I want?" Xian Qiuhe's cold laughter came from all directions. You didn't take my words seriously. I said before, if you don't go and absorb the power of the last 2 places, I'll kill one of your family and friends every day. I've already absorbed 1 place, there's only 1 left. Sima Yuyue said. I know, that's why I didn't kill these people, because you got people to stop me. Xian Qiuhe said, look at you, you're so sentimental. If you didn't have a good relationship with them and couldn't let them go, how would they become your weakness today? Sima Yuyue didn't reply to her. She looked at the densely packed people trapped on the cliff and blamed herself in her heart. A long sword pierced through the heart of a person on the cliff. That person groaned and lowered his head, without a trace of life. Xian Qiuhe. Sima Yuyue shouted, trying to stop him from continuing. But very quickly, the second person also died. Yuyue, don't worry, although these 2 people are from the Sima family, I know that you're not close to them. Xian Qiuhe's voice came again, but beside them are your grandfather, father, mother, your partner, your brother and sister. If you don't come back, I can't guarantee whose heart will be pierced by the next sword. Sima Yuyue closed her eyes, the anger in her eyes was not concealed. Xian Xiu He, if you dare to touch them, I'll never go to that place and you'll never be able to get what you want. You can kill them if you don't believe me. I'll blame myself and kill myself to appease their souls in heaven. If you don't believe me, you can try. Hee, you don't have to be so angry. Xian Xiu He said, since I informed you, I will naturally leave you some time. 10 days later, you must appear in the divine domain. Otherwise, I'll take one a day. Yeah, I'll wait for you to come back. Xian Xiu He. Sima Yuyue screamed as she woke up. She saw the crowd surrounding her. Yu, are you alright? Fushi asked worriedly when he saw her pale face and dazed eyes as she leaned into Wu Lingyu's embrace. Yu? Wu Lingyu's voice sounded in her ears, and she immediately came back to her senses. Father and the others are in trouble. Sima Yuyue came out from his arms, looked at him and said, Xian Xiu He captured the Sima family, Feng Er, Fatty and the others. He killed 2 people and asked me to return to the divine region within 10 days. 10 days? So tight? When she exclaimed. Yes. Fortunately, we've already found the white tiger, and everyone's injuries have more or less recovered. I'll go back first and leave Crimson Flame here. As long as I don't absorb the last bit of energy, he won't take my life. So during this period of time, Crimson Flame will be fine. Sima Yuyue said. If she was killed by Xian Xiu He, then Crimson Flame, who had a contract with her, wouldn't be able to escape death. If he died, one of the 4 great divine beasts would be missing. You guys should move faster. The 4 great divine beasts won't give you much time to breathe. Sima Yuyue continued. I'll keep in touch with you guys through the Crimson Flame Crane. Sima Yuyue said. We have nothing to do here. Let's go back with you. When the time comes, you can go find Xian Xiu He, and we'll go find the 4 great divine beasts. Fushi said. That's good too. Then let's go find Yusheng and go back directly. Mo Yusheng and Mo Yulai were drinking in the imperial garden. They dismissed all the palace maids and eunuchs, leaving only the 2 of them alone. They both knew that this might be the last time the 2 of them would be together in this lifetime. Just as the 2 of them finished another jar of wine, Sima Yuyue and the others walked out of the space. Mo Yusheng only glanced at them before standing up. He said to the already drunk Mo Yulai, 6th imperial brother, the weather is cold. Let someone send you back. Yusheng, are you leaving? Mo Yulai crawled up from the ground and stared at him. The corners of his eyes were slightly moist. You must be careful. Mo Yusheng patted his shoulder and flew to Sima Yuyue's side. The group of people flew into the torn space. Mo Yulai looked at the slowly closing space. He raised the wine jar in his hand and took a big gulp. Gone. This time, he really left. Emperor, this servant will let you go back? A eunuch came to Mo Yulai's side and said softly. Go back. Mo Yulai threw away the wine jar in his hand and left the imperial garden unsteadily. Sima Yuyue and the others arrived at the divine domain on the 10th day. The moment they arrived at the divine domain, they were lucky enough to meet a group of people from the 4 palaces. These people were really a bit cruel. They were only here to investigate the news of the rebels. However, they just happened to meet the 4 divine beasts that returned. In the end, they were completely annihilated by the 4 divine beasts. Yu, go and find the tomb left behind by the Emperor of Qingdao. We will go back to the Cliff Palace to take a look at the current situation and discuss how to deal with the 4 palaces and the 4 divine beasts. Fushi said, we will go back and let Master calculate where your family is. Then, we will send people to save them. Okay. Sima Yuyue also agreed to this arrangement. Let's do as we said before. I will contact Qi Yan. I will go with you. Wu Lingyu could tell that Sima Yuyue did not want to bring him along. Don't go with me. Take Yaguang and go to the Chan family to see if the two children are still there. See if they are well. Sima Yuyue was worried about the two children. It might not be useful to let others go. Wu Lingyu knew that she was worried about the two children. However, he was also worried about her. Don't worry. At this moment, Xian Xiu he probably already knows that I am here. So, he won't let anything happen to me. Sima Yuyue said, go and see Xiao Dao and Yao Yao first. Then, help me save my mother and the others. Although Wu Lingyu was not very willing, it involved her relatives and friends who were captured. He could not really ignore it. Okay then. You have to be careful. I know. The group separated after arriving here. Sima Yuyue went to find the tomb left behind by the Emperor of Qingdao according to the map in her memory. Wu Lingyu went to the Chan family. The four divine beasts went to the Cliff Palace. Perhaps it was because she returned to the divine domain in the stipulated time. Xian Xiu he did not come to find her again. She went to many cities and searched for a long time. Even with the small throne, she spent 1 or 2 months to find the tomb. Chapter 2307. Emperor Qingdao's mausoleum looked the same. Because she had his aura, Sima Yuyue entered the mausoleum without much effort. From the moment she entered, she felt that this place was different from the previous mausoleum. It seemed to have Emperor Qingdao's aura, but it was mixed with other auras. Why would Emperor Qingdao leave someone else's aura in his own mausoleum? She was puzzled, but she continued to walk in. Creak, a mechanism opened, and dozens of short guns shot out from the wall. However, they stopped beside her, as if they were hesitating. After a few seconds, they flew back. Sima Yuyue continued walking without any surprise. She had encountered such a scene more than once in the previous mausoleum. She encountered such a situation several times in the later mausoleum, until she reached the last mausoleum. What surprised her was that this mausoleum did not have a coffin like the previous mausoleum. There was nothing in the entire room. Without a coffin, how could she inherit his power? She frowned slightly and walked to the center of the mausoleum where the coffin was supposed to be. No, there was nothing. She walked around and confirmed that there was nothing. She was puzzled. Could it be that this place had been discovered and the coffin had been moved away? However, there were no traces of anyone coming in from the outside. It seemed that no one had come in except for her. Could it be that this place was different from before? She sat down in the center of the mausoleum and closed her eyes to sense if she could enter the previous state. Don't bother. You won't find Emperor Qingdao here. A woman's voice sounded. Sima Yuyue opened her eyes. A woman who looked exactly like her was standing in front of her. However, she was no longer in the mausoleum. You are Samsara? Sima Yuyue asked. I am you. Samsara smiled. Samsara is just a name. You are me? Sima Yuyue was not too surprised. After all, she had guessed this possibility before. I am a trace of your soul that you left behind. I stayed here to wait for your return. Samsara smiled. Isn't this Emperor Qingdao's mausoleum? I can feel his aura here. How did it become you waiting for me here? Where is Emperor Qingdao? Sima Yuyue asked. I asked him to build this for me. Samsara said, at that time, I only had this little bit of soul left. What about the other tombs? Sima Yuyue asked again. Don't worry, I'll tell you slowly. Samsara waved his hand, and the two of them appeared in a pavilion. Everything around them was white, and they couldn't see anything. Brew some tea. Samsara requested. Sima Yuyue was speechless. She was just a spirit, how could she drink tea? However, she still took out the teapot and began to make tea for the two of them. The fragrance of tea drifted around. Samsara sniffed it and seemed to enjoy it very much. After so many years, your craftsmanship is still as good as ever. Didn't you say that you are me and I am you? If I'm good at cooking, doesn't that mean you're good too? Sima Yue replied. The tea is ready. Tell me what happened earlier. I know that you were the one who guided Emperor Qing Dao into cultivation, and you were the one who helped him get rid of those distracting thoughts. I don't know much about the rest. There's nothing else. Samsara picked up the teacup and sniffed it lightly. Then, he held the teacup and played with it. His actions were almost exactly the same as Sima Yue's. I've only met him twice. The third time was here. Only 3 times? Yes. Back then, I was just waiting for you here, and I met him who was already very powerful. He knew that I was waiting for you here, and he also knew what I was thinking. He said that he owed me a favor, so he wanted to do something. That's why he built this tomb. He also built many other tombs. You are my reincarnation, so you have a karmic connection with him. That's why you can inherit his strength. After he arranged everything, he came back here and accompanied me for a few days before he passed away. That's why there's his aura here, but there's no trace of his soul. I see. Sima Yue understood. No wonder there was no coffin here, because it wasn't built for him. Samsara waved his hand, and a jade coffin appeared outside the pavilion. There was no need to guess. The one lying inside was Emperor Qing Dao. When he was alive, they only met a few times, but in death, they were together for so many years. It could be considered to have fulfilled his wish. After so many years, you're finally here. You being able to see me means that you've met your own requirements. Samsara's eyes were smiling. My requirements? Sima Yue murmured. You haven't told me why you're waiting for me here? Naturally, it's to tell you about the heavenly Tao. Samsara said. Sima Yue stared at Samsara, her expression cold. She felt that she needed to be mentally prepared for what she was going to say. Samsara saw her so nervous and smiled. When you were in my life, you traveled the entire world, and finally found the reason for the heavenly Tao's change. But at that time, you realized in despair that you couldn't change it. Is it because of the chaos world? It seems that you also realized that the heavenly Tao's change is related to the chaos world. Samsara smiled. At that time, you also realized it, but you were in despair because you couldn't enter the chaos world. But you still wanted to give it a try. So, you left me here to guard, and went to the chaos world, and never came out. So, you're waiting for me here to tell me that the heavenly Tao's change is related to the chaos world? Sima Yue didn't think that was the only reason. This is only part of it. The important thing is to tell you how to change the heavenly Tao back. Samsara said. Open the chaos world, and let the chaos world's aura spread across the world again. As long as people's cultivation aura has the chaos world's aura, they can advance like before. Then how do I open the chaos world? Sima Yue asked. She always felt that the chaos world couldn't be opened by one's strength. Samsara knew what she was thinking and said. Only you can open the chaos world. Of course, if someone has the same conditions as you, they can open it. What conditions? To be able to enter and exit the chaos world freely, have the strength of an emperor, and be a spirit master of all attributes. As long as these 3 conditions are met, they can open the chaos world. Samsara said. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Having the strength of an emperor was still acceptable. After all, there were many emperors in the divine realm. However, the first and third points were 1 in a million. Not to mention, there was someone who had all 3 conditions. There were only so many emperors in the divine realm, and no one was a spirit master of all attributes. No wonder she said that she was the only one who met the requirements. Chapter 2308. What do I need to do to open the chaos world? She knew that she was a person with great luck. She also knew that the greater the luck, the greater the responsibility. You need to go in, and when you come out, use your strength to support the passage. That would do. The method sounds simple, but that's the passage to the chaos world. How can my strength support it? Sima Yuyue asked helplessly. You have to think of a way yourself. Samsara shrugged, I'm just here to tell you the method. As for how to do it, you have to figure it out yourself. But you can go to the underworld to find Hades. He might tell you something. Hades? He didn't tell me anything about Tian Dao and the Chaos World. Sima Yuyue was shocked. Since Hades knew, why didn't he tell her? He might have his own reasons. You can find him and ask him. Samsara said. If I can see him alive, I'll ask him again. Sima Yuyue said. You want to die? Samsara stared at her and said coldly. Cough cough. Sima Yuyue's throat was choked by the tea she just drank, and she coughed twice before she recovered. She wiped the tea from the corner of her mouth and said, Don't be so direct. Isn't that so? Samsara said, From what you said just now, you obviously feel that you won't be able to survive. If this isn't going to die, then what is? I have my reasons. Sima Yuyue sighed. She really didn't have the confidence to win against Xian Qiuhe. But she couldn't not go. She couldn't disregard their lives. Then it's your decision. I'm just a part of your soul. Samsara didn't comment on her decision. All right, I've told you everything. I've finished this cup of tea. I should go back. After saying that, her figure turned into starlight and merged into Sima Yuyue's body. Sima Yuyue closed her eyes subconsciously. Then, she felt that something was different about her. It was as if her entire body had been sublimated. That's right, I sealed the last bit of power that Qing Dao left for you in his body. Samsara's voice came from her body, and then completely disappeared. Sima Yuyue opened her eyes. She was no longer in the pavilion. She was back in the stone room. However, at this moment, a jade coffin appeared in the stone chamber. She walked over and rubbed her hand on the coffin. This was the real coffin of Emperor Qing Dao, the person who had been influencing him since he was young. In the end, he was lying here. He seemed to have always been an obsession of hers, a driving force for her to move forward. Now that he had appeared in front of her, although she had mentally prepared herself, she still felt responsible. She exhaled and exerted force with both hands, opening the coffin lid. What entered her eyes was only a set of white bones. She reached out and stroked the white bones. When she touched his skull, she felt a chill on her fingertips. Then, a force entered her body through her fingers, Luoya Palace. The members of the Righteous Alliance were gathered here to discuss matters. When they heard that the 4 divine beasts had returned, everyone was very excited and ran out to welcome them. It really is the aura of the 4 divine beasts. That's great, they're finally back. How many years has it been? I can finally feel the aura of the 4 divine beasts again. I can already see our victory tomorrow. Yes, now that the 4 divine beasts are back, we will definitely win. From now on, we won't be oppressed by those beasts and the 4 palaces anymore. Fushi brought everyone over. He bowed to Luoya Palace's master and said, Great master, second master, fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. I finally brought Black Tortoise and White Tiger back. Good. Good. The palace master was very happy. At such an old age, he was almost crying tears of joy. Good lad, you did well. Junbai patted his shoulder. Fushi saw that Junbai's complexion was much better than before. He said, Master, are you feeling better? With the things that Yue left behind before she left, my body has long recovered. It's just that I recently did a few divinations and suffered some injuries that haven't completely healed. However, I didn't injure my core, so don't worry about it. Junbai looked around and didn't see Sima Yuyue. He asked, Where is she? When he mentioned Sima Yuyue, Fushi and the others' complexions weren't very good. He told them about how Xian Qiuhe captured her family. This Xian Qiuhe. We were still wondering why the Dark Dragon Guard disappeared. So it turns out that he went down to capture her family. Junbai said. Fushi, didn't you say that your master is very powerful? Why don't you calculate where Yoyue's family is captured? Why don't we go and rescue them first? This way, he won't be able to threaten Yoyue. When she said, "Yes, master, can you calculate it?" Fushi said. This matter wasn't considered a secret and shouldn't bring about much harm. Thus, Junbai took out a divinatory item and started calculating. Everyone waited for a while. Not only did Junbai not calculate anything, he almost got himself injured again. "Master, how is it?" Junbai shook his head and said, "I can't calculate it." "Why can't you calculate it?" Everyone was shocked. "Heavenly Tao." Junbai said with a straight face, "Her divinations are all covered by Heavenly Tao. I can't calculate anything at all. How can this be?" If they couldn't calculate the location, then wouldn't they be unable to help her? Even when she went to see Xian Qiuhe, they wouldn't be able to help her. If she were to face Xian Qiuhe alone, would she have a chance of winning? Then Qi Yan, can you find her? Mo Yusheng asked. She's in seclusion now. I think she should be absorbing Emperor Qingdao's power. Qi Yan said, as for Xian Qiuhe's location, we can only know when she arrives. However, even if we rush over at that time, it will be too late. Qi Yan's brows furrowed tightly. It was obvious that they didn't expect the current situation. You guys don't have the time to deal with her matters now. Junbai said, I didn't calculate her matters just now, but I calculated yours. The 4 great ferocious beasts are already on their way here. Just in time. We can finally settle the score from before. Black Tortoise angrily knocked on his tortoise shell. We can't do it here. White Emperor said. There were many people gathered here. If they fought with the 4 great ferocious beasts here, no matter who won or lost, this place could forget about continuing to exist. Shishi, you stay here with the child. Palace Lord, please take care of my wife and child for me. After Bai Xiaofei finished speaking, he followed Black Tortoise and the rest and opened a space tunnel to enter. Chapter 2309. Wu Lingyu went to the Chan family but learned that Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao had been taken away by dark. He asked Yiguang to contact Sima Yuyue but found that she was in seclusion. So he went to Luoya Palace. When he went to Luoya Palace, he found that Qi Yan and the others had already left and they couldn't contact Sima Yuyue. We can't contact Yuyu, what should we do? Yiguang said anxiously. Wu Lingyu was silent for a while and said, we can't find her, so we can only find someone who can find her. Yiguang didn't know who he was talking about, but as long as he could contact Sima Yuyue, it didn't matter who he found. Wu Lingyu went to the underworld and Dark was talking to the 2 little guys about body refining. Seeing Wu Lingyu come over, Wu Xiaodao ran over excitedly and held his hand and asked, Dad, why are you here alone? Where's Mom? Your mom has something to do and can't leave, so she asked me to come and find your Uncle Ming. Wu Lingyu said. Have you found Black Tortoise and White Tiger? Wu Xiaodao asked. Found them. Well, I have something to talk to your Uncle Ming, you 2 go cultivate first. Wu Lingyu was anxious and urged the 2 children. You 2 go down and comprehend the method I just taught you. Dark instructed the 2 little guys. Oh. Wu Xiaodao responded and then said to Wu Lingyu, Dad, we're going down, come find us after you talk to Uncle Ming. Okay, go. Wu Lingyu patted his daughter's head, knowing that he was going to break his promise this time. Wu Qiao looked at Wu Lingyu and pursed his lips and left. When the 2 little guys left, Dark said, What did you come to me for, say it. I came to ask you, where is Yuyue? Wu Lingyu didn't talk nonsense and directly said his purpose. Aren't you with her? Why did you come to ask me about her whereabouts? Dark raised his eyebrows. I can't calculate her whereabouts. Wu Lingyu told him that Sima Yuyue wanted to find Xian Qiuhe after coming out of seclusion and that Jun Bai and the others couldn't calculate her location. I also rejected it, but as long as it's related to her, it's blank, so I can only come to find you. You can't calculate? Yu sat up. After he opened his eyes, his old face finally changed. You can't find it either? Wu Lingyu asked. No. Hades leaned against his throne and said, leave him alone for a while. Wu Lingyu didn't know why he suddenly became like this. However, he believed that Hades would not leave Sima Yu in the lurch. Since he didn't panic, the situation shouldn't be the matter. Ming stayed in the room alone for a while. His fingers touched the armrest of the throne. No one had ever seen him so hesitant before. He had to say, he and so he's. After a while, he disappeared with the throne. No one knew where he went. After a long time, he appeared in the room. He was still in the same position. He was still hesitant, as if he had never left. Wu Lingyu had been outside the room, waiting for the person inside. But after waiting for a long time, he didn't see him or Ming come out. He came to the door and wanted to knock, but he saw him come out. Let's go. Ming's expression was heavy. This made Wu Lingyu have a bad feeling. Sima Yu stayed in the tomb for 2 months. She completely converted Emperor Qingdao's power into her own. What entered her body from Emperor Qingdao's skull wasn't the power to increase her strength, but his remaining thoughts and consciousness. She could only use this power after refining it. I don't know what's going on outside. She contacted the Scarlet Bees outside and understood the situation. The battle between the dark forces led by the 4 palaces and the forces led by Luoya Palace broke out. The number of people who died in these 2 months was more than the previous year. Both sides didn't have any obvious advantage. The 4 palaces were powerful, but Luoya Palace had gathered many forces over the years. There were also those who had been oppressed for a long time who had also joined the battle. As long as the 4 divine beasts won, there would be no suspense in this battle. As for Qi Yan and the others, the moment she woke up, they finally met the 4 ferocious beasts. After hundreds of thousands of years, everyone either passed down their legacies or survived with secret techniques. Now, they finally met. Qi Yan, how are you guys now? She asked through the contract. You're awake? Qi Yan used flames to force Qiong Qi back. You guys are fighting? Yes. Qi Yan replied, I asked Tao Tai just now. He said that the people caught by Xian Xiu he are in the mountains dozens of kilometers north of Tao Tai Palace. Xian Xiu he will know that you're awake. Go and save them. But you guys, it's just 4 divine beasts. We can handle it. Your battle isn't on our side. What she wanted to do was to save the people caught by Xian Xiu he and completely remove the thing in his body. If he really absorbed her power, he would be more dangerous than the 4 divine beasts. I know. I will try my best to stall for time. I hope it won't affect your battle. Sima Yu said. She couldn't let Xian Xiu he absorb all of her power. If there was no other way, she could only choose to disperse the power. If the battle between the 4 divine beasts and the 4 divine beasts hadn't ended when she died, then everything would be in vain because something happened to Qi Yan. Qi Yan understood her thoughts. After a moment of silence, he said, half a day. In half a day's time, they could end this battle. Okay. The 2 of them cut off the connection. Qi Yan continued to attack Qiong Qi. If you're distracted, you'll die very quickly. Qiong Qi's voice was hoarse and unpleasant. Then let's see who's more powerful. Qi Yan laughed coldly. His attacks were even more vicious than before. Sima Yu came out of the tomb. She wanted to stall for time, but a teleportation portal suddenly appeared in front of her. When she saw this teleportation portal, her heart shook. Xian Xiu he was so powerful that he could open a teleportation portal from such a far place. She wanted to stall for time and not go over so quickly. But this way, she couldn't reject it. Yu, I'll wait for you here. Don't make me wait too long. I can wait, but they can't. Xian Xiu he's threatening voice sounded in her mind. Sima Yu took a deep breath. She jumped and flew into the teleportation portal. Soon, she appeared on the opposite side of the cliff. From here, she could see everyone on the cliff clearly. Chapter 23:10. Xianqiu. He was still dressed in black, smiling as he looked at her, as if nothing had changed all these years. But Sima Yuyuan knew that he was no longer who he used to be. Sima Lu Xian, Yuku Luo, Sima Qin, Shiman Feng, Shiman Li, Fatty Chu, Bei Gong Tang, Ouyang Fei, Wei Zi Qi and the others who were close to her were all hanging on the cliff, including little Jun Jun and the others who were in their teens and 20s. She didn't know how long Xianqiu he had held them here, but they were not in good condition, some of them were even burnt. "I'm here, let them go," she said aloud. "Yu, I knew you wouldn't leave them alone." "Xianqiu," he said, "if you want me to let them go, you have to exchange for it yourself." "Okay." Sima Yuyue agreed without hesitation. "Yu, don't. Yu, don't agree with them. Yu, you can't." The people on the cliff were already in a daze, but when they heard Sima Yuyue's words, they all cried out emotionally. Their lips were so dry that they cracked, and when they spoke, fresh blood flowed down their chin. Sima Yuyue's heart ached, and she said to them, "Don't talk anymore, I'll definitely save you today." One by one, her beasts appeared behind her, and when they saw the people on the cliff, they were all furious. "I'll hold him back, you guys go save them," Sima Yuyue said, and took the initiative to fly into the air. Xianqiu he didn't care about her people, whether they lived or died, it didn't affect him at all, he only wanted her from the start. Seeing her fly into the air, he immediately chased after her. Yu. Little Seven was worried about her, and wanted to fly over to help her. "Don't forget the mission you gave us." Little Dream pulled her, "Saving them is more important now." Little Seven frowned and stomped her feet. "We should save them quickly, in case Yu worries," Hua advised. A group of beasts went to untie the ropes that tied them up, because they couldn't use spiritual energy, they couldn't break free from these ordinary ropes. Now that he had regained his freedom, he couldn't fly. The beasts saved all of them and carried them far away. They watched as Sima Yuyue and Xianqiu he chased each other in the air. "Me air, Xiaohua, Xiaozi, follow me to help her. The rest of you stay here to ensure everyone's safety." Xiao He took the lead and flew towards Xianqiu he. Me air and Lil Fire also followed him over. The four of them were not ordinary spirit beasts. They were all formed from the spirit chi of heaven and earth, so they would not die so easily. It could be said that as long as Sima Yuyue was alive, they would not die. Sima Yuyue relied on her understanding of space to avoid Xianqiu he. The two of them did not clash directly. Red Flame's battle was not over yet, so she could only dodge. Blackie and the other three ran over and surrounded Xianqiu he, attacking him together. There was fire, lightning, and corrosive power. Xianqiu he didn't dare to be careless. He condensed a protective layer to block their power. The two sides were in a stalemate. Sima Yuyue stopped. The chase just now had used up a lot of her mental energy. Xianqiu he was too strong. She was almost caught by him a few times. "Do you think you can trap me like this?" Xianqiu he looked at her with his red eyes. A strange smile appeared on his lips. Sima Yuyue understood what he meant. She knew that things were not good. She quickly retreated from her original position. However, she was still one step too late. An arm suddenly stretched out from the space and slapped her shoulder. If she didn't react just now and avoided the vital parts of her body, the power of that slap would have killed her. If she was caught by him in such a situation, even if she was about to die, he would be able to absorb her power before she died. She used the power of that slap to fly forward for a distance. When she was flying, she turned around and attacked that hand. That hand was injured, but Xianqiu he was not hurt. "You can't hurt me." Xianqiu he laughed. That voice was not Xianqiu he's voice. It was that monster's hoarse and dark voice. As his words fell, the arm that was injured turned into a black fog and dissipated in front of her eyes. At the same time, another arm appeared behind her. Pa, Sima Yuyue released a bolt of lightning and scattered that hand. After this time, he did not continue. He just looked at her and smiled. Sima Yuyue looked at him. He could actually release such a powerful attack under such a defensive situation. Was he really trapped? She broke out in cold sweat because of her own thoughts. If that was the case, then me air and the rest. You little, bang, before she could finish her sentence, Xian Xiu's defensive layer exploded. Me air and the rest could not dodge in time. The four of them were sent flying by that power. Sima Yuyue condensed her spiritual technique and attacked Xian Xiu. Little guy, you're not hiding anymore? Xian Xiu grabbed the fire dragon that she created. With a bit of strength, that fire dragon turned into spiritual energy and dissipated in the air. It was still the case. You don't have to be sad. Xian Xiu suddenly appeared in front of her after he finished speaking. Just like last time, he grabbed her neck and said, "You're already very powerful. It can be said that you're the most talented and powerful person I've ever seen in these hundreds of thousands of years. If I give you time, I definitely won't be your opponent. Unfortunately, you're only 200 years old. You're too young. Even if you have the power of Qingdao, you can't do anything to me. I've lived for hundreds of thousands of years longer than Qingdao." Sima Yuyue was restrained by him and could not move. She knew that she could not defeat him. She never thought that she could defeat him. She was just a person who had just become an emperor. However, he had the power of hundreds of thousands of years. When Emperor Qingdao died hundreds of thousands of years ago, he was already so powerful. Not to mention him hundreds of thousands of years later. Hence, she only thought of holding him back from the start. Looking at his arrogant smile, she was very conflicted. There was still no news from Qi Yan's side. However, if she persisted, the power in her body would be taken away. That guy would completely merge with Xian Xiu. No one would be able to suppress him in the future. What should she do? How should she choose? You, Qi Yan's weak voice sounded again. It made her tense heart relax. I'm sorry, my beasts. She should have removed their contracts in advance. She smiled at Xian Xiu. She began to adjust the spiritual energy in her body and let them circulate in reverse. Chapter 23:11. You want to self-destruct? Xian Xiu shouted. Wasn't she someone who cherished her life? Why would she self-destruct at the last moment? If she self-destructed, where would he find the power of the Emperor of Qingdao Island? Without it, how could he merge with Xian Xiu? However, Sima Yuyue's body was special. He could suppress her body, but he could not restrain the spiritual power in her body. He could only watch as her body expanded rapidly. If you self-destruct, I will kill all your family members. None of them will be left alive. He gritted his teeth and threatened. Look, they are still there. Sima Yuyue smiled proudly. You could catch them previously because they were not prepared. If you want to do it again, it won't be so easy. Xian Xiu looked over. The place where there were many people just now was now empty. Only her beasts were still there. You actually got rid of them secretly. He laughed coldly. I didn't do it secretly. I made a big commotion. You were focused on me so you didn't notice. If I can catch them once, I can kill them a second time. By then, I will already be dead. Sima Yuyue released all her power. Very quickly, her body was out of her control. Yuyue! An anxious shout exploded in the air. Sima Yuyue raised her head and saw Wu Lingyu and Ming rushing over. Ming waved his hand and a gentle force calmed the power in Sima Yuyue's body. Wu Lingyu teleported to Sima Yuyue's side. He carried her in his arms and retreated hastily. He heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that her power had calmed down. Are you alright? Sima Yoyue's face was pale. Wu Lingyu was still in a daze when he thought that she was about to self-destruct. For the first time, his back broke out in cold sweat. I'm fine. Sima Yue smiled at him. Ming glanced at her with a look of disdain. Useless. Sima Yue looked back at him. If she had other ways, would she have thought of self-destructing? She was not stupid. Ming snorted coldly. He looked at Xian Shouhe and said to Wu Lingyu, "You go and deal with him." Sima Yue pulled Wu Lingyu back and retorted, "You're so good, why don't you go?" He didn't need to expend much energy to make a move, but he just loved to order them around. "I have something to tell you." For the first time, Ming explained. "Don't worry, he's much stronger than you." Sima Yue pouted but did not say anything. Vaguely, she knew what he wanted to say to her. When Xian Shouhe saw that his opponent had changed to Wu Lingyu, he knew that this battle would not be easy, so he took out a sword. Sima Yue saw the sword in his hand and could not help but exclaim, "Sky Splitter Devil Sword. Why is she in your hands?" Back then, she looked on helplessly as eldest senior brother took this demonic sword out of the Little Black Lotus realm in order to not report Little Seven's identity. She also watched as it set off waves of bloody storms on the continent. After it disappeared, she was still suspicious of its whereabouts. She did not expect that Xian Shouhe had it. That's right, at that time, the black-robed men were all over the mainland. It was not surprising that he would get the devil sword. However, Xian Shouhe was already very strong. With the help of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword, his strength went up another level. "Don't worry, even with it, there won't be a problem," Wu Lingyu said and was about to go up, but Sima Yue grabbed him. She took out a dagger and said, "The Sky Splitter Devil Sword is very powerful, but it has something that specifically restrains it. Did you forget? Take note of the rest of your eyes after reading for a long time." Translator, Mr. Voltaire / Wu Lingyu smiled when he saw the dagger in her hand. Sima Yue erased her relationship with Ling Long and placed it in Wu Lingyu's hand, saying, "Sky Splitter Devil Sword, Divine Sword Ling Long. Go." Wu Lingyu and Ling Long established a connection. Wu Lingyu turned Ling Long into his usual long sword and fought with Xian Shouhe. The two of them fought with great strength. Sima Yue stared at the two of them. Their movements were too fast. She could not tell who was who. "Ming, is Lingyu really okay? That guy is very strong," she said worriedly. "I said don't worry, don't worry." Ming was a little frustrated. Sima Yue was surprised and asked, "What's wrong with you?" Ming looked at her. He wanted to say something but hesitated. She saw his hesitation and understood, "Is it related to opening the chaotic world? You know everything?" Ming frowned. "I know a little, but seeing how troubled you are, I think I don't know enough." Sima Yue said with certainty, "Is it very dangerous for you to be so hesitant?" Ming nodded and said, "The chaotic world is about to be completely closed." "Completely closed? What do you mean? I can't go there anymore?" "Yes. If it's completely closed, even you can't go in. There's no possibility of opening it again," Ming said. When would the chaotic world be completely closed? How much time did she have to prepare? Right now. It's completely closed now? Sima Yue looked at him in shock. She did not seem to believe his words. "Previously, Wu Lingyu went to the underworld to find me. He said that he could not calculate your location. I calculated it for you, but I sensed the changes in the chaotic world." Ming explained, "I went to the chaotic world to take a look and found that it was completely closed. And it's been a long time. If I didn't find it by chance, I might not have known until it was completely closed. It's actually now." Sima Yue did not know how to describe her thoughts. At this moment, she even felt that her mind was empty. It was as if she was not thinking about anything. "I wanted to wait for you to grow up and have the strength to tell you about the chaotic world. I didn't expect the heavens to not give me the time." If I go now, how confident are I? Sima Yue felt that she was not the one who asked this question. Less than 30%. Less than 30%. Sima Yue's heart trembled. With such a low success rate, could she do it? If I can't do it, what will happen? Die. If she did not die from exhaustion, she would be crushed by the chaotic world. No matter what, she only had one result. Death. Was that why he was so hesitant? Is there no other way? Sima Yue looked at him. Seeing that he pursed his lips, she knew his answer. You can choose not to go. Ming said. If you really think that I can choose not to go, you wouldn't have told me this. Sima Yue smiled. If he could choose not to go, he would have kept this matter a secret and only told her after everything was over. But he did not, which meant that she could not escape from this matter. This was a responsibility that she had to bear. She looked up at Wu Lingyu and said, Tell me, what should I do? Chapter 23:12. Ming looked at her and said in a serious tone, Are you sure? As long as you take this step, you can't go back on your words. If I don't do it, what punishment will there be? Sima Yue asked. You will be implicated by your family. As for how they would be implicated, she knew without a doubt. So, tell me, what do I have to do? Sima Yue was not surprised and asked. I will send you to the chaotic world. When you come out, release all your spiritual power. It must be the power of all attributes. Ming explained, you have to use all your attributes to build a channel and use this channel to connect the chaotic world to the outside world. If you have enough power and can build the channel completely, there will be no problem. But if it's not enough. I understand. Send me over. Sima Yue said. Do you want to say anything to them? Ming asked. Sima Yue opened her mouth and said after a long time, Take care of Xiao Dao and Xiao Yao Yao. If she died, he would have to take care of her. Okay. Let Ling Yu take care of the two children and live well. Okay. Sima Yue did not say anything else and said calmly, Let's begin. Ming nodded and waved his hand. Sima Yue disappeared. He looked at the place where Sima Yue was just at and was in a daze for a while. After a long time, he muttered softly, In the end, I did as you said, reincarnation. Sima Yue only felt a flash in front of her, and in the next second, she was in a white world. It was her third time in the chaotic world and she was very calm. She was not in a hurry to take action. Instead, she walked in the white fog for a while. Soon, she heard the sound of water. The last time she and little Seven walked here for a long time before they saw the river. This time, they arrived so quickly. She stretched her hand into the water and saw her face reflected in the river. She tried to smile at herself. I don't know how Ming is related to the chaotic world. It doesn't seem like he has never been here before. Otherwise, how could he send me here so easily? What a guy. He made me come here when I was in the ghost realm. So he did it on purpose. She finally understood many things at this moment. She closed her eyes and sensed for a while before saying, It's indeed changing. She retracted her hand, and the water in her hand turned into white mist and dissipated into the air after leaving the chaos river. She shook her hand and saw a mark on her palm. She knew that this was the passage that Ming had left for her. She injected her spiritual energy into her palm, and the passage began to emit a faint golden light. Then, she was sucked in by the golden light. It was different from the last time she went out of the chaotic world. At that time, her strength was low, and the whole process was muddled. This time, she clearly saw herself flying in the space. She stopped when she felt that she was about to exit the tunnel. Sure enough, as soon as she stopped, she felt the space pressing down on her, making it hard for her to breathe. Fortunately, even her body couldn't withstand it. If it was an ordinary person, they would have been squashed into a pile of mud. It's closing so quickly. No wonder Ming couldn't stay calm, she muttered. If he waited any longer, the space would close completely. She followed Ming's instructions and released all the elemental powers in her body. Apart from metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, she also released the dark energy in her soul and the energy that had almost killed her in the past. Friends, please prompt, pay attention to the rest of your eyes after reading for a long time. 00 recommended reading, The Power of Faith. This power lingered around her, creating a stable space for her. Only then did the oppressive feeling disappear. She grabbed a handful of pills and swallowed them, preparing to replenish her spiritual energy later. Then, she began to expand the space around her little by little. She didn't know how thick the space was, and she didn't want to think about it. She just expanded the passage bit by bit. When she condensed that passage, her figure suddenly appeared in the air. Although they could see her, they could see that she was not in the same space as them. At this moment, Junbai and Chan Shan arrived with a group of people. They were all injured, and it was obvious that they had just finished a battle and rushed over. They didn't know if they had received the news that Sima Yue was changing the heavenly Tao. Apart from them, many other people rushed over. However, those who came were all very strong. They looked at Sima Yue, and all of them were very nervous. If she succeeded, then they would have a chance to advance to a higher level and find eternal life. They didn't know what Sima Yue was doing. They only saw that she was releasing all the power in her body. What is she doing? Someone asked. Can she really change the heavenly Tao like this? Is it so easy to change the heavenly Tao? I think she's just wasting her efforts. Whether it's futile or not, it's better than nothing. That's true. Then let's see. Wu Lingyu and Xian Qiu were fighting equally when they were suddenly awakened by this change. The two of them separated, and Wu Lingyu immediately flew towards Ming. What's going on? He glared at Ming. What did you ask him to do? Didn't you see it? Ming saw that Wu Lingyu wanted to rush over to Sima Yue and said, "It's useless. Since she started releasing her spiritual power, no one can go near her anymore." Wu Lingyu didn't believe him and continued to fly towards Sima Yue. However, when he was about to reach her, he was stopped by a force. The power of the heavenly Tao. He was shocked. Was she actually protected by the heavenly Tao? At this moment, Ming's voice sounded again. At this time, other than those who can change the heavenly Tao, no one else is allowed to go near her. Even you and I can't. Wu Lingyu attacked for a while and realized that it was really useless. He was pulled back by Ming. Don't get in the way. Ming glanced at him, and he immediately quieted down. Yes, he only saw Sima Yue releasing the power in her body. This didn't mean that she would do anything. He couldn't just rush over like this. It wouldn't be good if he affected her. Lingyu. What is you doing? The Sima family members who had left some time ago returned. They originally wanted to help Sima Yue, but they didn't expect to see this scene. Yuko Luo stared at Wu Lingyu, wanting to get an answer from him. Wu Lingyu saw that he couldn't hide it anymore. He could only tell them that Sima Yue was opening the passage to the chaotic world and changing the heavenly Tao. The Sima family members were shocked. What kind of existence was the heavenly Tao? She actually dared to touch such a thing? Lingyu, is Yu confident? Wu Lingyu shook his head. He didn't know either. Not good. Everyone exclaimed. Wu Lingyu and the Sima family members' expressions changed. Chapter 23:13. Everyone looked towards Sima Yue and saw that she was steadily releasing her spiritual energy, but now her aura was unstable and it seemed like she could not hold on any longer. She was fine just now, why did she suddenly become like this? Wu Lingyu stared at Sima Yue and saw her clenching her fists and frowning deeply. His heart ached. He knew Sima Yue too well. Her frowning meant that her body was in great pain. But he could not help her at all. Sima Yue was indeed in great pain. She did not know how long the channel she had constructed was, nor did she know how long it would take. She only knew that the energy in her body was no longer under her control. It was as if someone was using brute force to extract her energy, and it was very rough. The spiritual energy hit her meridians until it hurt. If this went on, her spiritual energy would be squeezed until there was not a single drop left. Not only that, she felt that the channel she had just constructed suddenly became unstable, as if it was going to collapse. Was it going to fail? Try using your domain. Little Spirit suddenly said. Little Spirit was a spatial artifact and had a good understanding of space. With that said, Sima Yu released her spirit realm without hesitation. She used her domain to touch the channel that she had just constructed and merged them together. With the support of her domain, the channel stabilized. But before Sima Yu could catch her breath, she felt that the energy in her body was more chaotic than before. The speed at which it was flowing out seemed to be much faster than before. Soon, she felt that the energy in her body was being sucked dry. Now that her energy had been sucked dry, the next step would be her life force. Just as her spiritual energy was about to dry up, she suddenly felt a warmth in her abdomen. Little Spirit, I can still help you for a while, but looking at the heavenly Tao, I'm afraid that my strength is not enough. Little Spirit said. Little Spirit. I'm sorry, I've implicated all of you. Sima Yu's heart was filled with mixed feelings. When she first met Little Spirit, he despised her in all sorts of ways. Later on, he treated her sincerely and managed everything in the Spirit Pagoda for her. At this moment, he did not hesitate to use all of his strength to help it. If the two of them couldn't survive this, it might not be able to find other contractors. Yu, I'm very happy that I've been able to follow you all these years. Little Spirit's voice was still so tender, but his tone was very gratified. All these years have not been in vain. However, I'm afraid I can't accompany you anymore. Little Spirit's voice was getting weaker and weaker. The energy inside him was about to be used up. Yu, let us help you. The beasts' voices were heard together. Then, rays of white light flew past them and entered Sima Yu's body. The beasts returned to her body, and she felt the spiritual energy enter her body again. Yu, don't be afraid. No matter what happens, we will accompany you. Seven spoke on behalf of everyone. Yes. Yaguang's strength was the lowest. When he spoke, his voice was already weak. Sima Yu was touched. There was no need for words of gratitude. She said firmly, if there is a next life, we will still be together. Yes, we will still be together. Sima Yu was trying her best to hold on. Everyone could see that she was in pain. They could also see that she couldn't hold on for much longer. Not good. She has used up all her energy. The heavenly Tao is absorbing her life force. Someone shouted. Wu Lingyu flew over and tried to break through the barrier of the heavenly Tao. However, he was repelled by the power of the heavenly Tao and was sent flying. If you read for a long time, please pay attention to your eyes. Editor, Atlas Studios. He came back again, attacked again, was sent flying again, came back again, and attacked again. This repeated for more than 10 times. He was already badly injured by the power of the heavenly Tao. If this continued, he would lose his life. Ming went forward and waved his hand to restrain him, not allowing him to continue like this. Let me go. Wu Lingyu shouted. His face was red, his hair was messy, and blood was flowing all over his body. He looked very crazy. I said, you can't open this at all. Ming said as he attacked, but the result was the same. I promised her that I would protect your safety and let you live well. You can't be tormented like this. Let me go. Ah, let me go. Wu Lingyu struggled in the small barrier, but he couldn't break free no matter how hard he tried. Lingyu. Sima Yu also saw Wu Lingyu. She supported her body with difficulty and slowly turned around. It turned out that he was so close to her, but she didn't see him until now. Yue. Wu Lingyu saw her turn around and saw that her life force was quickly disappearing. He cried out in pain. Lingyu, I'm sorry. Sima Yuyue felt that her life force was about to disappear. She smiled at Wu Lingyu and wanted to leave him with a smile. Yuyue, Wu Lingyu wanted to touch her, but he was stopped by the power of the heavenly Tao. Yu, when the people below saw that Sima Yuyue was about to disappear, they all cried out. Sima Yuyue looked down and saw that Bei Gong Tang and the rest were crying uncontrollably. She saw that the Sima family members were all crazy and wanted to rush up, but they were tightly controlled by Ming. She looked at Ming again. His eyes were filled with pain, but he was the most rational person present. Mother, Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao came out from the space. When they saw that Sima Yuyue was about to die, they immediately flew over. They wanted to fly over, but they were blocked by the power of the heavenly Tao. The two of them attacked together, but they were seriously injured by the power of the heavenly Tao. They only managed to survive under Ming's protection. Ming restrained the two of them. Wu Xiaodao cried until his voice broke. He kept shouting, Uncle Ming, let us go over, let us go over. The two of you are so weak. You will die if you go over. Ming didn't let go of the siblings. He watched as they crazily attacked his barrier like Wu Lingyu. At this moment, everyone realized how powerful this man was. He could actually imprison so many people. When Sima Yuyue saw Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao appear, her tears couldn't stop flowing. She reached out to them, wanting to hug them. Mother, don't throw Xiaodao away. I will be very obedient in the future. I won't be naughty anymore. Wu Xiaodao cried until he was weak. If it wasn't for Ming's protection, she wouldn't have been able to hold on. Xiaodao has always been obedient. Not only are you obedient, but you are also very strong. Sima Yuyue cried, but she tried her best to smile. Xiao Yao Yao, you have to take good care of your father and sister. No. I don't want to. I want mother to take care of us. I want mother. Wu Qiao shouted. He didn't want to be an obedient child. He didn't want to be sensible. He only wanted mother to come back. Sima Yuyue wanted to talk to them, but she felt that the last bit of her life force was being sucked out of her body. In the end, she didn't succeed. Her eyes started to lose focus. She was about to die. Mother, Yuyue, Yu, everyone cried out in grief. Ming closed his eyes. Tears flowed down his cheeks. The moment he opened his eyes, he saw a figure flying towards Sima Yuyue, flying to her side and hugging her. Chapter 23:14. There was actually someone who could enter the heavenly Tao and go to Sima Yuyue's side. Everyone was stunned by this scene. Because the two of them are connected, that's why they can enter? Ming muttered softly, will the ending change? Those people also recognized that person. Xian Qiuhe. How did he enter? No matter how he entered, as long as he can save Yu, nothing else matters. That's right, as long as he can save Yu, why does it matter how he entered? Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao no longer cried their hearts out, but looked at the situation with tears in their eyes. Wu Lingyu also quietened down, but upon closer inspection, he didn't even breathe, he just stared straight inside. Sima Yuyue's consciousness was already muddled, her last remaining consciousness let her know that her last bit of life was about to be extracted from her body. As long as it was extracted, her body would lose its life, and her life would really be gone. She looked back at her life, she didn't have any regrets, only reluctance in her heart. She really couldn't bear to part with her child, Wu Lingyu, and her family and friends. Unfortunately, she couldn't look at them anymore. Yu, I won't let you die in front of me again. A voice sounded beside her ear, she couldn't remember who it was. But she knew that her last bit of life was interrupted when it was about to leave her body. She remembered that a force was transmitted into her body. It allowed her dried-up body to regain some life. Her consciousness gradually came back, she gradually saw the person in front of her, looking at that pair of eyes, she smiled and shouted softly, it was he, not Xianqiu he. At this moment, he was himself, that friend of hers, not the monster left behind by Emperor Qingdao. She thought that Xianqiu he's soul had already been devoured, she didn't expect to see him again. Xianqiu he's smile was as gentle as before. He was very happy that Sima Yue recognized him at a glance. She never thought of him as the same person as that monster. Yu, go back, leave this place to me, leave the responsibility of heaven and earth to me. With that, he touched her cheek greedily, then used a force to wrap her up and threw her out. He couldn't bear to see her go further and further away from him. Crane. Puff. Although Sima Yue was injured by the Heavenly Tao's power when she crossed the Heavenly Tao's barrier. Only entry and no exit. What a tyrannical Heavenly Tao. However, as soon as she came out, Ming went up to greet her and used her energy to protect her. Without the suppression, Wu Lingyu immediately broke free and hugged Sima Yue, injecting spiritual energy into her body. Mother, Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao also broke free and flew to Sima Yue's side. Her life force has already been depleted. If Xianqiu he didn't stop her at the last moment and injected some life force into her. Let her eat this first. Ming threw them a jade bottle, then raised his head to look at Xianqiu he. Once Sima Yue left, the Heavenly Tao's attention was all on Xianqiu he. No matter if it was him or that thing controlling this body, there was no way for him to resist, he could only accept it obediently. However, everyone could tell that Xianqiu he was controlling his own body, he even took the initiative to release all the energy in his body. The passage that Sima Yue built immediately expanded a lot. Bit by bit, when the passage completely opened up the space barrier of the chaotic world, everyone felt an ancient aura rushing towards them. However, the passage wasn't very stable, it was shaking and could collapse at any time. With my power, with my body, I will stabilize its foundation. Xianqiu he's determined voice was heard, not knowing if it was a contract with the Heavenly Tao, his body actually started to dissipate from his four limbs. All of his spirit energy and his body turned into specks of starlight, fusing into the passage and slowly stabilizing it. Crane, Sima Yue maintained her last bit of consciousness after coming out, seeing Xianqiu he dissipating, she subconsciously called out. Her voice was extremely soft. Please take note of the rest of your eyes after reading for a long time. Editor, Atlas Studios. However, Xianqiu he seemed to have sensed something and walked towards her. He didn't say anything, he just smiled at her, just like when they met in the medicine garden in the Cloud Sea City. Sima Yue also smiled at him, seeing his body dissipating bit by bit, the tears on her face couldn't stop flowing down. Finally, when Xianqiu he completely disappeared, she couldn't take it anymore, her vision turned dark and she fell backwards. Yue, mother, Sima Yue knew that she fell asleep again. This time, her body was injured too badly, so when she slowly woke up, a few decades had passed. She laid on the bed, thinking about the scene before she fainted, thinking about the dead Xianqiu he and some other things. She sensed for a moment, there was an additional trace of chaotic aura in the air. Although it was still very little now, after a long time, it could change the restriction that prevented her from advancing. Crane, this is all because of you, you did it. A drop of tear fell from the corner of her eye, sinking into the hair behind her ear and disappearing without a trace. She felt sad for a while before getting up from the bed. She sized up the room and realized that it was an unfamiliar place. When she sensed again, her expression changed. There was no joy from waking up, nor was there any surprise, only a deep pain in her eyes. She didn't care that she had lost her powers. However, she couldn't sense a single one of her beasts. Even Little Spirit didn't react. I'm sorry, creak, the door was pushed open. Sima Yue thought it was Wu Lingyu, but she saw an unfamiliar man walk in. You're awake? The man's voice was familiar and cold. Sima Yue was surprised, why would Wu Lingyu and the rest hand her over to a stranger? If even Ming couldn't save her, who else could? This young master, I wonder. Sima Yue couldn't continue speaking, because she saw the cold man suddenly smile at her, then, ran towards her, hugged her and laughed. Ha ha ha, I told you that you wouldn't recognize me, you've all lost. The door was completely opened. Sima Yus saw the people standing outside. Her eyes turned red. You guys. We said we would accompany you. Little Seven's smile was still so bright, brimming with vitality. That's right, we've all been awake for a long time. You're the last one to wake up. Little Rock laughed and said. You guys are fine, that's great. Sima Yus' tears fell, dripping into the arms of the man beside her. Only then did she notice that the man was still hugging her. Your little Roar. You've finally transformed? You finally recognized me, I'm now a handsome man. Although Little Roar was laughing, his eyes were filled with tears. You guys are fine, why can't I sense your presence? Why can't I sense your connection? I thought. Ming said, it seems like we were punished by the heavens for our previous actions. When you were pushed out, it broke the contract between us. So we don't have a contract now, you can't sense us. Little Dream explained. Yu has finally woken up. But you don't have a contract now, and you don't have spiritual energy, everything will have to start again. Hua Hua said. Sima Yue wasn't sad at all, she rubbed Little Roar's head and smiled at everyone. It's alright, as long as everyone is alive, it's better than anything else. At this moment, footsteps came from the courtyard, the beasts all retreated to the side, opening up a path. Little Roar also quickly moved away, in case he got beaten up. Sima Yue was now considered a cripple, so when she saw the person walking in, she knew that he was here. Wu Lingyu waved his hand, the people in the house were all cleared, and the door was closed. Before closing the door, Sima Yue saw Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao's figures wanting to come in. She saw Wu Lingyu standing at the door, opening her arms to him. Wu Lingyu teleported over, fiercely hugging her in his arms, filling up the heart that was missing all these years, and listening to her whisper in his ear. Lingyu, I'm back. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.